today we're going to do some myofascial release work. So you will need potentially a 4 or 5 inch small rubber ball, as well as, and most importantly, something the size of a tennis ball, like a tennis ball, or there's a pinky ball that's used in physical therapy a lot that is a little bit smaller and maybe a little bit firmer. But definitely the tennis ball will work as well. If you have that, probably more likely to have that than the tennis ball. And then you'll want something like a garden pad, or you could use a hand towel folded up to shim yourself up as we do some of this work, and I'll talk you through. So start by lying down on your back. I'm going to choose the pinky ball for myself, but again, you could use the tennis ball for this. And next I'm going to work on releasing the shoulders. So what I want to do, I'm not necessarily going to evaluate motion of my shoulders like we did with the hips, but I am going to evaluate how my shoulders lay on the mat. Now I just did a great workout for my shoulders, so I actually feel like my chest feels open, my shoulder blades feel nice and flat and wide on the mat. I can assure you that had I checked this out prior to the workout I just did, my right shoulder probably would have been lifted off the mat more so than my left. Maybe even up to my ear more so than my left. So just lay here for a moment, evaluate your shoulders. Notice the differences in the sides. Is one shoulder higher to the ceiling or towards your ear? Do your arms, how do they lay on the mat? Now I have, my right arm does not extend to straight or bend fully, so due to an old injury. So that's kind of a hard thing too. Mine's always going to be different than my left side. Or maybe just laying here you feel tension in your neck, and hopefully all of that will get alleviated when we do this fascial release for the shoulder. So I usually, if I have one side that feels worse than the other side, maybe it's, like I said, higher to the ceiling, higher to my ear, doesn't relax or is in pain, that's the side I will tend to work on first, because you'll notice the biggest difference. I feel level, I feel great right now, but I tend to have shoulder issues on my right side, so that's the side I'm going to start with. So first thing you're going to do is put the shim or your hand towel under your left or your other shoulder, whichever one you're not working on. And you may not even need that, but again, I like it there because it helps prevent me from rolling off of the ball. Now, the ball is tricky to get it in place by yourself, but you are going to try to put it under your shoulder, in between your shoulder blade, and I'll add some B-roll in here so you can see what I'm talking about. You need it in between your shoulder blade and your spine. So if you have your spine and you have your shoulder blade, you want it somewhere in between those 2 points, not against the shoulder blade and not against the spine. And the easiest way is to kind of get it under there and then move your body around onto it and find a tender spot that feels like it's where you need to massage out the tissue. Maybe it's a trigger point, maybe it's like a muscle knot or bound up muscle. And it's not comfortable, I'm not gonna lie. So if you find the right spot, it's probably gonna be uncomfortable. And I actually don't just feel it where the ball is, I feel it kind of shooting down my arm a little bit. Not horribly painful, it's not like I'm damaging a nerve or anything, but also even muscle tension up in my neck from where I've placed the ball. So I know that it's in a good spot, it's working. And you're going to take several big deep breaths here. And again, your legs can be bent or straight. I actually like to put my feet wide and let my knees come together so I don't have to work hard to hold them up. And every time you exhale, just release and try to relax into the ball even though it's uncomfortable. If it strains your neck, you can always put a shim under your head to lift your head up a little bit. Now you're going to raise your arm up to the sky, palm faces your body, and you're going to puppet arm the arm up and down to massage out that tissue in the back. Oh, this is definitely sore. It's just like getting a deep tissue massage. It's not a relaxing massage. And then you're going to soften your elbow, make it into as though your arms are in the shape of hug the tree. And you're going to open it out and close it. So because that shoulder blade is drawing in towards the spine, when my arm opens, it definitely feels like it's working. Or it's definitely pushing heavier into the ball. Inhaling and exhaling. Relax your jaw, relax your mouth. And then you're going to put your fingertips on your shoulder. Mine doesn't touch because my elbow does not bend fully. It's been since I was 12 years old. So you're going to circle the elbow around, which again is contracting, releasing these muscles, allowing the ball to dig into the fascia to help release it. And then reverse. Maybe reach it overhead. Again, just like with the hip, it doesn't matter so much what motion you do, as long as you feel like you're massaging out that area of your back by contracting the muscles around or near the ball. And then rest the arms down. Take a few big deep breaths. I might have rushed this side because this one's way more painful to me than the hips. I'm going to take the shim out and take the ball out and lay flat. It's actually, even though I felt pretty even before, it definitely feels even more flat and more open through the front of my chest. All right, so we're going to do this to the other side. Put the shim under, I'm doing the shim under my right shoulder, the ball under the left. This side's potentially more painful. I'm going to try not to rush through this side, even though this seems to be more uncomfortable on this side. So breathe, relax your shoulders, relax your muscles as best you can. Maybe shake your head no to relax your neck. Raise your arm up to the sky, palm faces. This is the arm that has the ball under that same side. And then puppet arm, if you can move it, your arm up and down. I think I'm going to need something under my neck, and I'm just going move my shim instead of keeping it under my other shoulder, because this is so painful that it's almost making me strain my neck a little bit. And I could move the ball into a different area that's maybe not so painful, but I can tell this is where I need it, so I'm just gonna adjust other things accordingly. You can tell my range of motion is horrible because it's so uncomfortable if I make the movement too big, so I'm being cautious. And then hand on your shoulder, big elbow circles. Actually, it's getting better as we go, and less painful. And reverse it. Your arm up, you can reach overhead, maybe not, and down. Just do that several times if you want. Whatever motion of the arm that makes your muscles in the back feel like they're allowing the ball to dig into them by contracting and releasing. Maybe it's a hug the tree. Who knew that I was so sore on this side, or so tight? And one more. Good. I'm going to relax the arms down. Even though you possibly, like me, want to come off this ball, take a moment to breathe and relax into it. Roll off the ball, take it out. Take the shim out. Lay flat for a moment. Oh my gosh, it feels so much better. Actually, my shoulders feel even flatter, my chest feels even more open. My back feels flatter to the mat. And actually I feel like my head rests more comfortably on the mat than it did before, and I was feeling good. So my pain was in my hips, but clearly because everything is fascially connected, we don't just work on the area of pain, we have to work on other areas too. And then we're going to finish, if you have a ball like I do, this is a 4 or 5 inch ball. I think it might be 5 inch. Or you can get a towel roll, a hand towel I mean, and just fold it and roll it up into like a tube shape, as kind of thick as you want it to be. And then lay back down. So first we're gonna put this under our hips, sacrum. So it's literally gonna go, if your sacral bone is like a triangle in your back, low back, kind of near your tailbone, it's gonna go right against that. You need to find a spot that's somewhat comfortable that you can really rest and allow your hips to fall over the ball. You don't want it too low on your tailbone where it's just making you tuck. You don't want it in the arch of your low back where it's making you stick your belly up and drop your tail down. Put it right on that sacral bone. Now, similar to when I had the tennis ball or the pinky ball underneath me, it's not comfortable for me to have something like this under my hips and have my legs straight, because I'm just going to do one leg at a time because I can't manage that, but it makes me anteriorly tilt my pelvis and it hurts my low back. So I keep my knees bent, but if that's not a problem for you, then you can straighten one leg or both legs. You will get a nice hip flexor stretch if you straighten one or both legs. So we're just gonna relax and breathe. I'm gonna let my knees fall together because that's what's comfortable for me. And just breathe. Feel like the ball is pushing into the sacral bone, almost trying to flatten it. Not that that's what's happening, but you can stay here as long as you want, but for sake of time for the video, I'm going to take the ball out and I'm going to lay flat. And you should notice that your pelvis maybe feels more flat to the mat, more level. Maybe your low back doesn't feel so extended off of the mat, and just doing this makes your spine just feel so nice and flat and straight and aligned. We're going to now put the ball under the shoulder blades in the middle of the back. So this is tricky too, especially if you can't bend your arm well like I can. But you want it sort of in between the tip of the shoulder blades, pushing up into that convex part of the spine, the mid-thoracic spine. And you may find that this is too much extension for your back and it makes you feel like you're in a back bend. So if that's the case, you can always put a pillow or something under your head so that it doesn't make your neck feel strained. But this is comfortable for me. So you're gonna lay here and breathe. If it bothers your low back to have your legs straight, just make sure to bend them. Feel the chest just open up and the shoulders open and relax down onto the mat while the ball pushes up into your middle upper back. Stay here all day, it's so comfortable. But again, for sake of time, we're gonna take the ball out and lay flat. This one I noticed the biggest difference. My spine just feels so nice and flat on the mat. And then we're gonna finish and place the ball under our necks. Kind of let the head just hang over it. Knees can be bent or straight. You can rock your head side to side if that feels good to you, to massage out the neck and the occiput area in the lower part of the back of your head. If you're someone who gets vertigo and dizziness from extending your neck and your head back like this, you can always move the ball up a little higher so your head's not hanging back too far. But I like my head to hang over. It feels good, like a good stretch on the neck. And again, just breathe and relax. Relax the muscles. Relax your jaw, your tongue, even your eyeballs. Let them just fall backwards into the eye sockets as you breathe and rest. And again, you can stay here as long as you like. But for sake of this video not going much longer, I'm going to take the ball out. You always need to evaluate how you feel after. So just lay flat. And hopefully your spine feels straighter and more flat, more aligned. Chest and hips feel relaxed and opened. Relaxed and open. And you did it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you in the next one.